Hey, let's file your homestead exemption. Hey, it's Jaime with Echo Real Estate Advisors. Welcome to my channel. If you're a home buyer, a home seller, an investor, or simply want to learn more about real estate, this is the home for you. So don't forget to subscribe. Okay, we're looking at homestead exemptions. More specifically, how to file your homestead exemption in Dallas County. There are other videos in this channel that go in depth in other counties on how to file your homestead exemption, the exact blueprint, blow by blow, step by step, how to do that in other counties. Collin County, Tarrant County, Ellis County, Denton County, and now Dallas County. So if you're in other counties in the DFW area, go check those videos out. Now, there is another video which I will put in the description below that goes into depth about what the homestead exemption is. So check that out, why we're actually doing this. Again, this video is the exact tutorial, the exact demo on how to do the homestead exemption, how to file it. So let's get going. Dallas CAD. So we need to go to the county appraisal district. This is not something that you file into the state. This is county by county. That's why they've been broken up into counties where, again, Denton, Ellis, Collin, Tarrant, all the other counties, those are in other videos. This one's specifically to Dallas. All right, so this is the Dallas CAD. And we are going to search by, well, first let's get our document. We need to get the homestead exemption. Residential homestead exemption. So over here on the left-hand side, you see exemption. Then we're gonna put residential homestead exemption. Okay, now let's see. I don't see a download button, so let's go back up. Forms, maybe in the forms, and there it is. Residential homestead exemption application. So we're gonna click there. All right, now what we're gonna do is Dallas CAD. I'm gonna use the actual address of the Central Appraisal District for Dallas. That way I'm not sharing anybody else's personal information. And this is publicly available information. So is the residential part, but out of respect to the owner, I'm just going to use the Dallas CAD. I'm sure they won't mind. Put the address. North Freeway. Oh, that's gonna be north. That's the thing with these websites. Sometimes they get a little bit finicky. So if you see highway or freeway, as you saw, south, north, court, drive, whatever the case may be, if you're not finding your actual address, then go ahead and get rid of, as you saw there, the freeway or the courts or the drives or whatever the case may be. Just go ahead and get rid of that. All right, so this is a commercial address, which is fine for our purposes. This is just a dummy account. This is a dummy demo. So having a commercial address will be fine. We just need this information. Okay, we're gonna go to print homestead exemption form. This application is to be used, well, unlike other counties, this one is one that you need to download and fill out either on paper or on an editor. So this is fine. We're gonna go through this and just to give you an idea of where to look for the information, as that's important. If the mailing address shown above is incorrect and you want the mailing address changed to match the property address, click this box. So if you see here that your address is incorrect, then now's your opportunity to have them rectify that. So you would check that box. If the mailing address is correct, please do not match the property address shown above. Please explain why. But does not match the property address shown above. Please explain why. So what they're getting at here is that here recently, a few years ago, they have asked that all of the addresses in your driver's license match the address that you're filing a homestead exemption for. So they are taking that to heart, and this is a derivative of that requirement because they want to know, why is your address different than your mailing address? So where are you sending your mail? They just want to confirm. They want to be sure that when you're filing a homestead exemption, that it is actually your primary residence and is not a rental property that you're not living in. I hope that makes sense. So that would be an explanation. This would be more of where are you getting your mail and what address you're hoping to address today. Ownership status. Do you own the property seeking an exemption? In this example, we're going to put yes. Does more than one person own this property? We're going to put no. If yes, please indicate the ownership status below. So the most frequent one is marriage. So if you're married, you would click there and then go on. So each individual owner, excluding married couples, residing on the property must complete a separate application to qualify for the exemption for his or her interest in the property. So if you're married, you're excluded from that. If not, then you would need to continue going. For this example today, I just put no. But of course, if you're not single like I am, then you would need to, and they own the property as well, you need to address that. All right, check exemptions that apply to you. For details, read explanation of exemptions or tax code, and then they give you a link. Okay. This is very important. Apply for all the exemptions that are applicable to you. Don't see this as, well, I can only check one. That's not the case. You can check at all of the ones that apply to you. That's very important. So not only that they apply to you, but two, that you can prove it. They're gonna ask and give you some additional information on how you actually prove that you are a disabled person. So take that into consideration, of course. Be truthful in everything that you're doing. But for our examples, we're just for the general residence homestead exemption. So we would check that box there. And you see that if you're above the age of 65, disabled person, transferring tax ceiling for age 65 or so some tax ceiling information, then you would need to do that. All right, on what date did you begin occupying this property in your principal residence? So January 1st is very important. So if you're filing for a 2019 exemption, you will have needed to occupy the property January 1st of the year that you're applying for. So right now we're in May. Actually, the deadline to apply for a homestead exemption just went through, so we're actually a little bit late if we were going to apply for this year. But this is 2019, so in order to qualify for the 2019 exemption, that you will need to have lived in the property January 1st. So they're asking you what date that you occupy the property. For this example, we can just say, if you purchase a property, let's say December 1st of 2018, then you can say that you moved in the following day or whenever you moved in. So that's the address there. So essentially what they're looking for is for you to have moved into the property prior to January 1st. How many acres, not to exceed 20, are used for the residential occupancy of the structure? So very rarely, well, not very rarely, you will have a general understanding of how large your lot is, your residence is, not from how big the home is, but from how big land that your improvement, i.e. your home, is on. So we're gonna look at total area. They're asking for acres, so all you need to do is take that and go to Google and put 95,692 square feet into acres, and it will give you the amount of acres. So there, most homes are on about an eighth of an acre lot. So this example, I would have put 0.125 of an acre. But of course you have your actual total area that you would need to fill in. Are you claiming an exemption or another property or on your previous residence? Are you claiming an exemption on another property or on your previous residence? For this example, I'm going to put no, but if you would have put yes, they would have asked you for that address and most likely the county in which it is registered in. So you can only have one homestead exemption at a time. That's what they're asking for. So if you have it in another property, then you would need to move it over to you. On January 1st, did you occupy and claim this property as your primary residence but temporarily away? Then you would put yes or no. If yes, what date did you intend to return to the property? Asking you a few more questions about that. Was your residence less than 100% complete in January 1st of the application is made? In this example, I'm going to put no. If yes, attach residency that proves you resided at your residence even though it was not 100% completed in January 1st. So you see a lot of themes, a lot of questions relating to that January 1st occupancy date. It's kind of important. Was any portion of your property used for rental purposes or not occupied, not used for homestead purposes, such as the room, a garage, detached building, second? So in other words, they're asking, has this been income producing for you? This example, we would put no, but only you know your situation. If yes, list the square footage, not occupied, not used for homestead exemption purposes. Then they ask you for the footage. List the date the property was rented. Again, you see a lot of questions relating to that. Is this a co-op housing? So in co-op housing, so a corporation housing real estate, you own stock. That's the form of owning real estate in a co-op. Most likely, if you're not in a co-op, you don't necessarily know what a co-op is, but if you are in a co-op, you very well know what it is. Most housing is not in a co-op, but you'll know your situation there. Is this a co-op housing? So I'm going to put no. If yes, do you have an exclusive right to occupy this unit because you own stock going back to that stock on how you own a co-op housing, in a co-op housing corporation? Then you would put yes or no. If yes, attach a copy of the certificate of membership of purchase. So certificate stock. Is the person applying for this exemption resident of a facility providing services related to health or affirmative aging? Okay, so the next questions they are asking about, they're gonna ask you 4 questions, as you can see here. What they're getting at is, if you say yes to any one of these, then you're most likely waived or have a waiver to your driver's license address not matching your property address. That's what they're getting at with these questions, although they specifically don't call that out. So again, let me repeat that. If you're gonna put yes to these, if any of these apply to you, then you may be eligible for a waiver on the reason why your driver's license address does not match the property's address that you're applying a homestead exemption for. I hope that makes sense, but that's what they're asking for. We're not gonna go too much into detail because that's really the synopsis of it. All right, so attach required documents. Attach the requirement proof as stated above if you answered yes to any of the questions in step 4. What was step 4? So there you go. Attach a copy of your Texas driver's license or Texas ID card. The address listed on your driver's license card must match your homestead property address. So you see the driver's license address needs to match your homestead property address. In certain cases, you may be exempt from this requirement, or the chief appraisal may waive this requirement. For more information, read the explanation of exemptions. Really, those would be up here. These are the questions that would most likely get you waived from that requirement. All right, now age 65 or older, then it would go into more information about that. Manufactured homes, i.e. mobile homes. Common misconception is that mobile homes or manufactured homes are not eligible for a homestead exemption, but you are. So there's just some additional information that you would need to provide, and here's where they're calling that out. And we're getting close to the end. Yep. You put your information here, so your driver's license, which would be required, your spouse's information. If your spouse owns it with the property with you, chances are that she does. All right, Texas driver's license, date of birth, simple enough, date, time, phone number, email. Then you would print your name and stating to the fact that you're not misrepresenting anything in this application. Penalty for false statement, and then they're going to tell you that it's a Class A misdemeanor somewhere. You could be found guilty of a Class A misdemeanor. So that's serious business. Make sure that you fill out everything to the best of your abilities. You would sign it, you would date it, you would print your name again, and then you would mail it. To prevent delays in processing your application, please answer all questions completely. Provide the required documents and your signature. All right, so the rest of the documents, so it's not too bad, right? It's the first page and the second page are a requirement. If you're gonna do some additional exemptions, if you're eligible for additional exemptions, then you would go into the affidavit. So if you're gonna do an affidavit for 65 years or older, disabled person, you would put that there. And then affidavit for 65 or older, disabled person, multiple owners, you would put that there. And then they would most likely have an affidavit for a manufactured home. And there it is. So if none of these apply to you, then you don't need to worry about those. And then they go into some additional explanation of what each definition means and what you're eligible for in the other exemptions that are available to you. But that's essentially it. Again, this video is really longer than for you to fill out your information. It's super simple, and make sure that you file it. Even if you file it late, get it in there for the next year. Hey, it's Jaime with Echo Real Estate Advisors. Thanks so much for checking out one of my videos. Feel free to browse around for any additional topics that may be of interest to you. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss another upload. Lastly, remember, I am a full-time realtor, so feel free to reach out and see how I may be of service. Thanks.